and that he wanted to cut it off at the head before too much sort of built up. But still, like, blinking his Stalkers forward like that, and then taking all the shots from the Marauders as well as extra tanks. Huge mistake there, and losing all his army for it. And then just simply perfect micro from TaeJa, kind of balancing his unit's damage between all the Colossi. Very, very nicely done. Second map going to be Dead Wing.
Dead Wing. Big map. Good map for cross spawns if you're Protoss, and late game in general, pretty strong. But TaeJa's already got that early lead. Let's see if he can take it and run with it here in game number 2 for our final set of the day for the SSL. The bottom right in red for Jin Air. Down a game here. It's Terminator. Longtime player of Starcraft2. Never the results he's wanted, though, in individual leagues. Up against the international man of no mystery whatsoever. It's TaeJa. When I hear the name TaeJa, all I just think of is trophies, champagne bottles, and that blue team liquid shirt.
Yeah, and his killer smile after he wins a game.
Yeah.
And, yeah, all that money. Now, he's just definitely one of the most successful players of StarCraft 2. And has been so consistent with it. You know, he's always winning. Every year, he's winning tournaments. Time and time again. And it's great to see him back in Korea, though, because this is like the biggest test of all. This is where the hardest games are fought, I think.
Yeah. And you could beat a top-tier Korean overseas, but can you beat him when he's watched your play and all your VODs, and he's prepared for a week to beat you? Can you do that?
That is the question.
That's the real test. Looks like we're going to see a Nexus first here from Terminator.
Yeah.
I was talking about this earlier in our previous PvT because we see this a lot, which is why I think Reaper expands are always still going to be popular on this map, because if you get lucky with your scout, you get that Reaper over there early, and they go Nexus first, sometimes you can get some damage done.
Well, we saw him do damage last game, and he went for a standard build with a very fast Mothership core, but he decided to scout and just take 2 probe losses early on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Terminator could take a lot of damage from this if we see TaeJa capitalize. But if not, then Terminator's going to have a pretty healthy economy.
There's that Nexus. So, very quick scout here after the Nexus from Terminator. And TaeJa will do the same. He just seemed to be a bit uncomfortable in his booth, by the way. He's moving around.
Might be a little bit cold in there. You
Yeah,
know?
it's freezing.
It's freezing anywhere else except this booth, Wolf.
Yeah. This booth that we're in right now is the only warm place in this country. No one knows about it. Keep it a secret, Moonblade. Hey, foreign fans who aren't in Korea, don't tell anyone here.
That's right. I'm dreading the walk home, that's for sure.
Alright, there's that scout.
He sees it. It's going to be Reaper opening. He's like, okay, I got to get ready for the damage if it's going to come.
He wants to block the CC. Oh, actually decides to keep probing the main.
I think he might want to save it for harassment when that Reaper leaves the base.
Right. Because if the Reaper has to come all the way back to chase the probe in the main, that buys him a lot more time.
Ooh, I like this.
Look at the placement. It's hard to be surrounded by those probes. He actually has to pull one off to the SCV.
Yeah, he's really using the
He's using the build against him, yeah. That Zealot is coming out here. You might actually have to finish the Zealot. So if you get a canceled bunker to force a Zealot, it kind of becomes okay.
Ooh.
And that bunker's pretty far along.
Looks like he's just going to give it up. He's going to use it for a nice little SimCity block, though, I guess, maybe. Or he's just going to go for the Zealot.
He might try to finish it, but I don't think it's going to be worth it. Does he send the SCV back in?
No, I think it's gone home. I think he's going to keep the SCV alive. It's not a bad decision either. He will eventually get this Zealot, but I think by the time he does that, Mothership Core will be out and no more damage will be done.
Oh, I think the Zealot might live. Oh, but he gets a probe kill.
Ooh.
Oh, but there's a second Reaper. That's part of the reason why this bunker's here. Gets that kill. Gets away. So commits a bit of extra gas and a few minerals temporarily in that bunker. And he's just going to cancel and get back.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame him. I mean, he doesn't need to get that reactor anytime soon. And in fact, he might even be skipping it. I think I wasn't paying too close attention to the production tab, but we do see a very early factory already.
Got such a late cancel on that bunker, too.
It's actually good because
for so long.
It gives him vision of the main as well.
It's so cool. I really like that.
Okay, so reactor was made, and it's going to be reactor, maybe Hellions? Maybe
I think Widowmine's first for safety. Because there is a Stargate coming up, and that's something that we might see. But no, you were right. It's going to be Hellions first. And I think we're going to see Oracles come out of the Stargate initially, but he might still make a safety Phoenix. This is a funny game already. It's turned out to be ultimate harassment game.
I think it's very good for TaeJa because he will follow up with Widowmines, and he will put them in his bases. And from there, you know, he can defend pretty efficiently against Oracles.
Instant pull here by Terminator, still loses the probe, and Terminator's not willing to use that Nexus cannon there against the Reapers. Meanwhile, with Hellions supporting the Reapers, they could actually get a lot more done.
Yeah,
they focused elsewhere.
They can kill a lot of probes.
Looks like he's going to go into the main base. One Stalker alone is not enough to deter these Reapers. He's going to come up that lip, and he's going to scout the Oracle. Meanwhile, is he going to force a Nexus cannon? He will. Already 2 probe kills as well.
Nicely done there. He's going to scout everything. He does scout the Stargate, so he should have Widowmines in place.
They're not ready yet. He's only got 4 Marines. This is going to do a ton of damage, Moonglade. Let's see exactly how much.
Yeah, it will.
There's that cannon activated. SCV's pulled instantly. Good reaction here. Oh, needs to target a little bit better. Going to fight the Marines. 4 Marines will go down to an Oracle, but 5, that's a different story with the Widowmine there especially as well.
Yeah, looks like he's going to go to the natural there. And we see nothing to defend at the natural. So much damage going... So much damage happening with this Oracle.
Would be doing even more, but he's out of energy.
Yeah.
Maximum efficiency Oracle.
Yeah, that was a very, very good Oracle. And we're going to have to really see TaeJa trying to even things up. I guess he's going to try with these Hellions. Not fighting much.
And don't forget that the Phoenix came out here, which is going to shut down for the drop, so we might see later on.
Just kind of a good dropping location for TaeJa. I mean, he's got a direct flight to the back of that main base. Can help out a lot as well.
Well, those Hellions always wanted to get in there and get something done, get a scout off.
Wow.
Committed to lots of the Phoenixes, yeah.
Yeah, I like it there because it will shut down any drop coming his way. With that many especially, he's very, very safe of any sort of drop play from TaeJa. TaeJa's going to have to find another way to do damage.
Can goes down.
And I love seeing this Phoenix Colossi builds. Generally, you'll see it maybe more on Nimbus. Ooh, 4 HP. One more shot would have done the trick. Yeah, you see it more on Nimbus. And rarely on any other map these days. But I think it's great.
Well, let's see what he gets done with it. I mean, it can harass. It can kill a Hellion, for example, like this one if he finds it. Just barely not. Hellion's having like the same speed as a Phoenix, so tough to chase that one down. But going into Phoenix Colossus is an older comp. We've seen some players have success with it. We've seen a lot of players start out to have success with it in the game, get a lot of kills, but then overcommit to Phoenixes though, so you got to be careful about that because they're not very strong units. They're a bit flimsy in a late game. And is he going to scout it? Well, I mean, I guess he already saw it got lifted, but not able to scout too much here. There's nothing to see.
Yeah, I think it's safe to assume that he will be going into Colossi with this build. Because, I mean, what else can you really go with?
Right, is he going to go charge Zealot Phoenix? I don't think so.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be too efficient. Maybe against Zerg, but not against Terran.
He saw no forges. I guess that's one thing that he saw with this.
Yeah.
And he has, I mean, of course, there's no way to know about that +1.
He didn't get a complete scout off, which is a problem there. The forge could be anywhere at this point.
Ooh, going to tag this army, which means he can maybe catch it with the Phoenixes, but a bit sloppy on the retreat.
Yeah, looks like he's going to just turn around and defend. He does have that third base building, so he obviously does not want to lose it. It's just about to finish as well.
He's hoping that those medevacs lift up, and he can take them out with Phoenixes. Now, with this Colossus here, it's going to be pretty tough to attack.
Yeah, especially with no Marauders. It's going to be a lot harder. It's going to be nearly impossible to snipe the Colossi. And I actually think we could see Terminator just wipe this out.
Yep, he's going to just go ahead and pick up some of those Marines. Any Marines that turn and fight are going to get caught by the reinforcements. One Phoenix does get picked off, actually 2, but he totally takes map control here and could continue an attack. Just got to be very careful with how he controls those Phoenixes. Attacking into this third base wouldn't be a bad idea. Problem is he doesn't have a reinforcement pylon for warpins. If he had that, he would totally commit.
He's still sitting in a pretty powerful position. Second Colossi out. And third base up and running. Fairly saturated at this point.
Yep. Second Stargate, man. He's really committing. Might even see him get +1 armor for the Phoenixes in the second here. Or perhaps even the shields. And already TaeJa is responding appropriately, getting quadruple Viking production going. think he misplaced his second starport just for a second, so he's probably going to have to move that.
No, that's 5. Yeah. That's 5 Vikings production. So he's going to have sufficient amount eventually. So he has a little bit of catching up to do. So yeah, 3 Stargate starport worth.
He's already got, you know, even numbers, which is important to have. One Phoenix will beat one Viking in a straight-up fight if they are forced to fire constantly, because Phoenix fires faster. But the Vikings have better range, and they have bio underneath, so if you try to close the distance, that Marine count is just going to wipe the Phoenixes. So, 4 at a time coming out now, and Phoenix count is actually kind of stabilized here at 9. He hasn't made any further than that. He doesn't have any more queued up. Okay, as soon as I say that, he starts 2 more.
Well, he's got to really, he's got to take a look at the production from TaeJa more than anything else. He's got to realize that TaeJa's actually making 5 Vikings at a time for this, so he has to continue production of these Phoenix. Otherwise, he's going to have a very, very tough time when the fight actually happens.
Yeah. All right, Philippe Beacon is going down. He's going to commit to the Anion Pulse crystals.
Yeah, I think it's the right choice. It's getting to that part, whereas, yeah, he's definitely going to have to commit.
Well,
pretty heavy.
If you're going to have this many Phoenixes, why not make them, like, twice as good? You know? So, this is kind of a game where, because there's Phoenixes on the map, it's hard for TaeJa to harass and drop. And with the composition that Terminator has with Phoenixes, it's hard to attack or punish or push out. So, that's why we have this kind of passive mid-game here at 15 minutes where nobody's really attacking each other. Everyone's kind of sitting back, trying to build the better comp. And it's a good scout there by Terminator. Finds out where that Bioforce is. Trying to find out if it's moving out, if it's committed to an attack or not. There's that 3rd starport.
Yeah, and we do see TaeJa adding the Ghost Academy, which is going to help out a lot in this fight as well when it finally gets that critical mass, and it actually does happen. It's going to be so many Phoenix to EMP, and they're all going to be so clumped together.
Well, they clump together. You know, EMP not only takes out shield, but takes out energy, so it means they can't lift, for example, which probably won't be too big of an issue until the fight is over, but still, something to consider.
I mean, then he can commit his Vikings to killing Colossi and just win the ground fight. I mean, it can go a lot of different ways. It looks like we're actually going to see TaeJa move out, at least apply some pressure. He does have a pretty healthy number of Vikings.
I actually really like TaeJa's composition a little bit more. He's got so many Vikings. He's going to have the Ghosts to support. He's going to be able to just use that bio on the ground. And once the Phoenixes are gone, the Colossi are fair game. But he has to engage really patiently. His Bioforce is still so strong. And the army on the ground for Terminator is basically a few Colossi. Doesn't have very many Zealots or Stalkers. Looks like maybe, 2 Stalkers and 9 Zealots. It's all about the Phoenixes and the Colossi.
Yeah, the problem is that the Vikings are always going to want to be trying to deal with the Colossi while the fight happens. And if the Colossi are left unchecked, they're going to wipe out completely the ground army. So it's a very hard situation for TaeJa to kind of decide what he's going to do. He's like, okay, I got to win the air fight, but at the same time, I got to deal with this ground army. And if 5 Colossi are wailing on my bio, then I'm going to have no bio left even if I win that air fight.
True. Now, another thing to consider, something that we've seen from time to time in the situation, is turret pushing. Just kind of moving slowly forward with some turrets to help fortify your position. Because it's hard to actually engage. Like, look at how Terminator's playing this. We've seen this already so many times. We saw this in the Hot 6 Cup, where you just make a bunch of cannons so that if the Vikings try to come in there and snipe your Colossi or start picking away at your Phoenixes, the cannons are just going to shoot at them. I mean, it's so hard for anybody to be the attacker. It's so much easier to be the defender in this position. So that's why we don't see any fights, because neither player can really commit to a drop with this many Vikings.
That's why we see Protoss.
Phoenixes.
That's why we see Protoss choose this map, man, because you can get very, very easily four bases and just defend.
Storm should be coming up eventually. You know, Storm would be great against these Vikings. He's actually getting Tempest instead. So many cannons here, up to 9 now.
Oh man,
he's going up to 10 in total being added here.
So this is how Terminator wins games. This is what he does. This is what he did to Sky High. Played the waiting game, man.
11 cannons. And it's just going to be, it's the Great Wall of Cannons. You can see it from space, man.
If he went into Templar from here, it would help so much as well.
I think he should, but he's really liking the Tempest choice. which if he loses his Phoenixes for any reason, will be totally annihilated by these Vikings. Like, if a few good EMPs go off, and he loses those Phoenixes, the Vikings are going to have a field day with the Tempest. Well,
I think we're going to see a very long game, Wolf.
I think so too. Let's take into consideration bases here. TaeJa is not taking the map, even though he is arguably map control.
Oh, look at those pylons on the map on the left as well.
Whoa! See that upgrade right there? That's Graviton Catapult. That's for carriers.
Oh, wow.
Carriers usually the last unit you want to make against Vikings.
Yeah.
Let's see, though. With good air upgrades, they could end up being good in the late game. Let's find out. This isn't Legacy of the Void just yet. We're getting closer. And there's that Templar Archives, finally. I mean, think about what would be good against those Vikings. Two things come to mind, Storm and Archons.
I think so. That would be fantastic. Also, a Mothership Core would be a great addition to this lineup. I mean, they're all invisible, forcing the Vikings to commit to the Mothership Core before anything else.
Wasting a ton of volleys.
Yeah, and wasting one massive volley while the Phoenix get on top of the Vikings.
While Storms hit those Vikings.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be the last step here. All right, Phoenixes are actually moving out here. They want to maybe swipe off some of these Vikings that are away from the main group.
Got to be careful. I mean, there is a lot of EMPs underneath.
Yeah, I don't know about this. He wants to free up some supply, I think, perhaps.
Yeah, maybe.
A lot of shields gone. Look at that. Every black square you see there is an EMP Phoenix. They're all at half health.
Yeah, that was a perfect EMP. That was like 100% EMP.
It hit like all Phoenixes but one.
They essentially have no energy either. But here we go. TaeJa's going to commit to this.
All right, I don't know about this. There's two cannons on the ground still helping out. Colossi are, like you said, wailing away on that Bio Army. And from the back, we've got those Tempests. But Ghosts have Cloak here, and they do a lot of bonus damage to light units, including these Phoenixes. And TaeJa is going to narrowly win this fight. Carriers are replacing this. Two more Tempests on the way as well. A ton more Bio coming through, though, on the production tab for TaeJa.
I don't know if that's narrowly winning, man. I think he's one-shotting everything at this point. There are simply too many Vikings left. But look at that bank. That is something to note from Terminator. Yeah. He does have a healthy bank.
If he had better upgrades for his ground units, for his gateway units, I'd like his position with that bank a lot more. But he doesn't have that many gates. In fact, I don't think he has more than like 4 gates, if even that many.
Well, that explains why he has a ridiculous bank still, and he's down 40 supply.
He has like no gates.
Yeah.
We saw this problem happen already once in the Hot 6 Cup with a player, I think it might have been Stats, who just didn't make enough gateways.
Oh, I remember that game. Yeah,
you're still making enough gates because you're so focused on your air control, you're maxed out, you don't think you can spend your money in any other way, then suddenly...
Well, there you go. There's a way to do it. Make more cannons, but maybe just a little too late at this point.
Well, let's see. He doesn't have a big answer for those Vikings anymore, and his Colossi are not doing maximum damage because they're clumped up against each other. And those Tempests don't have a huge damage output either. The Vikings are closing the distance here. Cannon's about to finish, but I think it's just a bit too late. TaeJa is getting too much cost-efficient damage done here.
Oh, way too much. And there's 2 Colossi left on the ground. And so many bio left over, and a decent amount of Vikings to kind of clean up everything else.
Well, here come those weak carriers that don't even have full interceptors. We're going to see a type out here, I think.
Yeah, he's running out of... I think he might be able to clean it up. He seems to be wiping out the rest of the bio with a Stalker Warp in, but still 5 Ghosts at that 4th base. He's going to maybe
2,200 minerals to spare here.
Killing whatever he wants coming out of those Stargates. GG. Bit of a strange game there from Terminator. Not really finding what he wanted. Looks like he wanted to show us a pretty interesting late game mass air composition, but he just says no.
Missing one thing.
What do we
miss? Game Storm. Where was it? Where were the storms on those Vikings?
Yeah.
Where were they?
He just didn't really have enough gas to cover everything, I guess. Like, he was investing in
carriers. What is he thinking?
Against mass Viking. I don't know, man.
I think if
TaeJa thinks it's funny.
If TaeJa commits into the cannons, you could just constantly take better engagements, which Terminator wasn't patient enough to force. Then, yeah, the carriers are great because if we can wipe the Vikings from the carriers and your Tempests and your Phoenixes and your small ground army that has +2 in charge and like got like 9 Zealots or something, yeah, maybe